Hey there, Hoosier fans. We're here live from Assembly Hall. I'm Nathan Brown. This is Robby Howard. We just witnessed IU's 90-74 win against Stony Brook this evening. IU, never really got very far ahead of the Seawolves. They really struggled shooting from the free throw line, especially in the first half. Shot, I believe, just a hair over 50%. And we're actually better from the field than they were in the first half. But Will Sheehy, who only actually played 12 minutes tonight, who started the game, got the Hoosiers started off with a quick 7 points, 3 assists from Yogi on those plays. But got out. Vonleh struggled from the line, missing 3 or 4 free throws from his first attempts, and that kind of really got the ball rolling off on the wrong foot for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, but they responded, and they never really. I don't think they trailed at all in this game.
And I think Stony Brook had the first bucket, but then after that they didn't.
Yeah, and so IU was never really in jeopardy of losing anything like that, and sort of a bland game. IU pretty much kept it around the 10-point range for most of the game. They finished with a 16-point victory. I want to say that 16 was actually their largest lead of the game.
I think it was.
And so that's a good way to finish the game. Noah Vonleh recorded his 4th consecutive double-double to start his freshman campaign. He's the first freshman to start his career with 4 double-doubles since Michael Beasley at Kansas State in 2007, and he's the first Hoosier to have 4 consecutive double-doubles at any time during the season since DJ White in also the 2007 season. So a very strong start for him. He had 18 points, 15 rebounds tonight, and Green added that he also had 15 deflections, and trying to call that a triple-double, which it's not, but point still stands that he had 15 deflections. He's been very active. We saw him get a rebound tonight and immediately went straight back up with it for a dunk. That was pretty impressive. Another pretty stellar game from him. Yogi Ferrell also had a very dominant performance tonight. He once again leads IU in scoring with 24 points. This is after on Friday he scored a career-high 26 points. So if you average that out, his last 2 games he's averaging 25 points per game. Very impressive from the sophomore point guard. Tom Crean said that this is the best 2 games of Yogi Ferrell's career, especially when you look at the fact that they've come back-to-back. And what about Yogi has stood out to you in tonight's game?
No, I saw a stat. He's missed. I can't remember what game it was, but he had a game where he missed a lot of 3-pointers after one where he connected pretty well, and I think quietly he's shooting somewhere around 40% from beyond the 3-point line, if my memory serves me correct from a tweet that someone sent.
He was 3 of 7 tonight.
Yeah. If he keeps this up, I think he can really become. I mean, he has to become IU's go-to guy as a shooter on this team. No one else really is showing that they have much potential to take on that role, and I think that he really needs to become, although he wasn't ever really, either in high school or last year, much of the, go out and score 20, 25 points a game type of guy that you could rely on. I think that's something that he's going to have to embrace this year. I think we'll see a handful of, 18 to 20 plus maybe games from Vonleh, especially if he can improve his free throw shooting. I think he was 6 for 12 from the line tonight. He's going to get there a lot.
6 of 14.
6 of 14,
yeah.
okay.
So under 50%.
Yeah. He's going to get to the line a lot this year, and he's going to have the opportunity to score a lot of points. But unless he works on that free throw shooting, he might not be a player who can, have a magical night and go out and score 25 like Yogi's averaged the last 2 games. I think he's just going to be a real key for them, as a scoring threat, especially once the Big Ten starts.
Once again, there are 4 Hoosiers in double figures tonight. Besides Yogi and Vonleh, there's also Evan Gordon came in and quietly had 12 points on 4 of 6 shooting, made his first career 3-point field goal as a Hoosier. So I know Tom Crean said that he was excited that Evan sort of made that first one. I think he's now 1 of 8 on the season from three-point range, so finally got that first one knocked out of the way. And Jeremy Hollowell also came out and had 10 points, which was surprising because Hollowell actually did not start the second half. Crean opted to go to Luke Fisher instead, and he said that that was a big unit for them to come out like that and just really set a tone and a momentum for that second half. Sort of sounded like he wasn't too happy with Hollowell's energy on the court per se, and Hollowell comes back out. I think he had 3 points at halftime. Comes back out and adds 7, including a big three-pointer that I think actually put IU back up by 10 sometime in the second half.
Yeah. You know, it was, I was talking to some people, I think it was maybe actually my dad, you know, a couple days ago. After you get past, you know, Noah Vonleh, Yogi Ferrell, you know, maybe Will Sheehy on a good night, this IU team is, you know, doesn't have a ton of players that are the consistent top 5 for this team. Like last year when you had, you know, Victor Oladipo, Cody Zeller, Watford, Hulls, guys like that who were, you know, above and beyond the guys that they had on the bench. This team can plug in a Luke Fisher if, you know, if Jeremy Hollowell isn't playing well. They can plug in a Colin Hartman. They can plug in an Evan Gordon off the bench, and I don't think you're going to see a lot of difference between these lineups production-wise. Obviously, they have, you know, some taller lineups, some shorter lineups, some quicker lineups, but, you know, all in all, I think with the depth that they have, and especially the younger guys that they have that hopefully will be around for a while, you'll see this year that, you know, you drop from the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that, you know, if guys get into foul trouble, if guys get tired, whatever, you won't really see a whole lot of drop-off. And I think that will be down the road a big strength for this IU team. Right now, you know, when you get into those guys, they're fairly inexperienced, and that's a bit of an issue. But I think down the line, if they all kind of progress evenly, I think you'll see IU become a fairly deep team.
Yeah, another storyline, you talked about this a little bit with the free throw shooting. IU ends up being 30 of 49 tonight from the foul line, 61%, but a lot of fouls called in this game. There were 55 fouls in total. 32 of those went to Stony Brook, but a lot of IU players also affected by, you know, the fouls tonight. You talked a little bit about Sheehy and how he came out and was really hot at the start, and then he sort of gets in foul trouble. He ends up fouling out tonight, actually on pretty a dumb foul there at the end. He comes in and 11 seconds into being reinserted into the lineup, fouls out basically on a hip check, pretty much just preventing a guy from going after the ball. Not Will's smartest play, but Hunter Mascara-Perea also sort of had a similar problem in which he had 6 points, actually I think all in the first half, and he didn't score the rest of the game. He finished with 4 fouls, so he was sort of plagued by that, but we saw again tonight continued development of Hunter Mascara-Perea, and really this whole team, and something that Crean talked about was how the team's still growing. There's still a lot to be learned, and he's trying to tell the guys, listen, like, we don't have a lot of time to be learning, and they're sort of learning on the fly. It was funny, he said, I think he was referring to the LIU Brooklyn game when he said we looked like a bunch of guys who were just picking up the ball and going to the hyper to go play, which is kind of funny. But just the fact that they don't know each other's tendencies really well yet. This is a very young team, a lot of new pieces in place, and so still sort of just feeling everyone out and getting all the kinks worked out, but not really a great chance to work out the kinks against Washington on Thursday, IU's first real big test of the year, you could say, in the 2K Sports Classic at Madison Square Garden. And Nathan will be out there. Going to New York City, bright lights in the big city. And so I think we'll know a lot more about this IU team when they play Washington and then either Boston College or UConn.
Yeah, I think, I mean, odds are probably UConn. That'll be IU's first ranked opponent of the season. They're, I believe, somewhere around the 17th to 20th mark in the rankings, depending on what poll you look at. But, I mean, obviously ranked ahead of IU. You know, that game will, I think, show us a lot, you know, where IU is. I don't know if playing a game like Syracuse that they'll play a week later, if that'll really give us a great idea, just because I think Syracuse is so much head and shoulders above IU. You know, I would predict IU to probably lose that game. Hopefully they can stay within what they did last year. But I think UConn is a team that, along with Notre Dame, which they'll play in the Crossroads Classic in the middle of December, I think those are some teams that will really show us where IU is, these next couple weeks or so, rather than teams like Stony Brook, like LAU, Brooklyn, like Samford, where they can make a lot of mistakes, they can get into foul trouble, they can be kind of sloppy and go a little too quickly, but still come out with a fairly easy win.
Yep. So until next time, see you guys.